Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Go for Two podcast, episode 2. I am your host, Jackson Wallace, and I got my friend here, Lucas, with me.
What up?
How you doing, man?
Fantastic.
That makes me happy. That's happy to hear, man. I'll tell you what, we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, and just in general, I just want to say out to our audience again, I'm super happy. Football is back. We got the first real week of the preseason coming up, so we'll be talking about that. We'll probably touch on our Hall of Fame thoughts about watching that game a little bit. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and
we got a lot because I was looking at the outline, I was like, sheesh,
for real. I guess let's start out with the hot news right now. Let's get an update on Zeke.
Boom.
What's going on, man? Holdout continues to, at this time of recording, to, I believe today was day 12 of his holdout. Yeah, he's still in Cabo. And
who's in Cabo training? No, he's laid back, got a margarita in his hand.
For real, This dude ain't running the beaches.
No way.
He's not doing any of that. Yeah, so anyway, all the debates keep coming up is like, should we trade him? We being, because I'm a Cowboys fan, Yeah,
right.
I think we might be okay this year if we bring back Zeke. 'Cause I think it's a key piece. However, anyway, I was like, should we trade him? Should we? Because I think we can get a haul for him. I think we can get quite a bit of draft picks or maybe even another key player in another position.
Yeah.
Do we just pay him the money even though he's still got 2 years left on his contract? But if we do that, what's going to happen with Amari? What's going to happen with Dak? Are we going to be a little even more desperate now? Because, our offensive line looking real great, but now Alfred Morris ain't looking so good. Zach Martin is he's got like a herniated disc in his back at the moment, so the offensive line is not going to be as good. So I think that kind of adds some ammo to Zeke.
Right.
It's all over the place, man. What's your take on this whole Zeke?
Well, first off, Zach Martin is he's supposed to come back, right? Like he's going to be able to play the season.
Yeah. I think they're keeping him out of. Yeah, I think they're keeping him out of camp and preseason games for a while.
Just hope it's not a lingering issue.
Yeah, same. If he re-aggravates it later.
So I think in my head, I think Zeke bites the bullet, takes a cheaper contract, right?
Right.
You can't expect to be on a Super Bowl team and win the championship if you're the highest paid halfback and it's just a ridiculous number and you can't pay for your franchise quarterback or your number one wide receiver who needs a new contract. Like there has to be some give. And frankly, like halfbacks aren't exactly, like Le'Veon Bell's situation doesn't help him, right?
For sure.
Like dude wanted money. He was like, no one else can do what I do. And James Conner came in and just proved all of that wrong. Like cheap, like you can go draft, especially with the line. I think especially with the line that the Cowboys have, like they can draft someone and have a good running back.
I think so
now,
too.
Saying that though, the Cowboys need him, right?
Absolutely.
So I really think it's a mutual need because is someone else going to pay Zeke? Yeah. But is Zeke going to get the team that he wants, right? I think it's just a question of, do you want to win the championship or you want to get paid?
Right. There's that, and there's also like a comfortability factor within a team itself. Like I was listening,
the line.
Exactly with the line, especially with the running back and the offensive line relationship is so crucial and so critical and so delicate. I was listening to Eric Dickerson today. He was on Undisputed. Actually, he was on Undisputed. He was also on the Colin Cowherd show. Excuse me. He was talking about Le'Veon Bell and his willingness to hold out all of last year. But he knew about the Steelers' offensive line and like, okay, this guy can pull fast this way. This guy's more of an impact blocker, so I can push here. This guy, he might be a little slower, a little bit weaker, so I have to cut here. Like you build that rapport and that relationship and that trust with that offensive line. And now he's going to be with New York, and he's going to have to learn their tendencies and learn, who is a strong impact blocker and who can pull fast or if they can pull a little bit slower because he's not very like – Le'Veon's not very like a hit the hole type of back. He's very he likes to dance around, dance, play a little bit more patient than most people. And so I don't know really how he's going to do with New York. Bringing that back to
Right.
Zeke, I think, speaking to your mutual benefit, I think he has a very high interest in wanting to stay with Dallas. He wants to play football. I get that he wants to go and play and get his money, right? But at the same time, it's like, dude, you still got 2 years left. Can we worry about this next year? Like, I would understand if
Yeah.
if it was a 1 year thing left on your deal. You don't want to get hurt and then lose your opportunity to really get paid, because a running back's lifespan is so short. 10 years max, maybe. Usually it's 8. So, and with the CBA the way it is right now, the collective bargaining agreement, he has your first round pick. You got 4 years. Then you got a team option. Right? And then technically they could franchise you twice. So really they could keep you 7 years. That's the majority of your career. And are you really going to get paid after 7 years? Are you still going to be as productive? Maybe not. So I understand where he's coming from, but come on, man. Like, can we wait at least 1 more year for this? Get back in line. We got other people to pay. We got other people to pay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's too much at once. Like I know he's not ignorant. Like, he knows this is going on.
Right.
And so I just question I question his character, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like he might be stuck in a hole? And I only bring that up because Eric Dickerson, I'm going back to some of his quotes. He was saying that it really is possible for Zeke to miss games. And the only reason why that is possible for Zeke to miss games is because if you're going to hold out and you want your money, you have to be able to be willing to miss those games and put the owner's put the owner's feet to the fire.
Right.
So what do you think? Do you think that it's actually possible he would miss games?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and that's what scares me. Like our schedule over the first couple weeks, like we got New York, we're at Washington, then I think we have New Orleans, and then we have the Jets. So like the 3 out of the 4 teams, I think we should beat. But even without Zeke, but still, even then, it's like if he's holding out past week 4, he's very committed to holding out past that. Man, it's just such a terrible situation.
So like the problem, like if he's willing to miss any games, I just feel like you're turning your back on your whole team.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. Especially like we keep going back to this, but especially with 2 years left. Like you're really jumping the line in front of everybody else. And everybody else is at camp and they're playing and they're feeling good. Like, come on, man.
I think they can talk to him. Talk to him and be like, look, like the next 2 years, like you're gonna make your money that you're already making, but then when your contract's up, like we'll make you the highest paid.
Right.
Or like at least up there, like
some kind of verbal agreement.
It's too much. Yeah, it's stupid. Honestly, I don't understand why he thinks it's okay for him to ask to be the highest paid halfback when Amari Cooper's wanting to be up there.
Yeah,
and Dak Prescott. I mean, ownership's already come out. Prescott's getting his, man.
He is. He's getting his. He's getting his share. I think he probably is going to end up getting too much for what I think he's worth. But then again, it is a quarterback league, and I understand that quarterbacks are going to get paid, and it's just that's just the cycle. And when you have a hard cap, and when you have quarterbacks getting paid more and more and more, and I mean Dak has the ammunition to get paid. I mean 2 out of the 3 years he's been here, division titles, playoff win last year against Seattle. Really should have had a playoff win 2016, his rookie year against Green Bay, although we got Aaron Rodgers and Mason Crosby in like 2 plays. It was ridiculous. I was freaking out after he had led the team back in the fourth quarter down 14 points. So, I mean, Dak has the ammunition to get his, right? And I mean, and Dak's going to get it. Ownership's already said it, and he's exactly what you want in terms of the intangibles as a quarterback. He's a great leader. He's great in the locker room, public appearances. He's professional. He shows up every day, first one in, last one out. He's who you want as a franchise quarterback. So I don't mind him getting that much money. I do mind Zeke jumping in line. That is a big problem.
Yeah,
So,
for
but
sure.
we'll see. We'll see how this continues to unfold. Hopefully, before the next episode comes out, this has ended, and Jerry Jones works his magic and figures something out with the calculator. Because I will say, with Jerry Jones is the guy when it comes to money. You don't mess with him with money. And if anybody's going to be able to figure this situation out, it'll be him. But that being said, he has also shown he is not afraid to move on from star running backs. Right? Look at
Yeah.
DeMarco Murray.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, like I said, it's just like the chips are stacked against Zeke. So, like, really, like the way this league works is there's third string halfbacks that could be starters tomorrow, right?
Right. There's a lot of good backs
Like,
out there. They're not Zeke style though. You know, Zeke being the best back in the NFL right now, and I firmly believe that.
right, but can they run the ball? You know, like you got a line like Dallas, they
Right?
run the ball, and you know you end up with the
Right.
next James
Zeke
Conner.
just has to
Like,
lower his expectations. He's not going to get Todd Gurley money. It's just not going
no,
to happen.
that was just stupid.
Yeah.
I don't no, like no
Right.
way.
Like we can give you like we can get him paid, and I mean in terms of like top running backs in the NFL, we can get him paid, but we can't pay him Todd Gurley money. You pay him Todd Gurley money, then you lose probably two of your other stars: Byron Jones, Amari, Jalen Smith, Dak, you name it. Right? Like we're losing two of those if we pay him Todd Gurley money. There's just not enough room in the cap. There's just not enough room to go around.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's like, the Rams last year had one of the best lines, had arguably the most explosive run game, right?
mhm.
Uh, and they paid Todd Gurley so much, put all kinds of money into the team, busted the cap, and now they've had to get rid of most of their linemen. Like they've pretty much got a different line coming this next year.
Yeah, they couldn't pay their top guys.
Yeah. So,
So we'll see how they,
so I mean
what
that's what
consequences
happens.
come from that. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. So like Zeke needs to look at that stuff because that's what Jerry's looking at.
Yeah, exactly. It is what he's looking at, and like this is a team that could be a contender for the NFL if or not for the NFL for the Super Bowl if the right things fall into place, right?
Well, it's just like as an example of last year, one player can't win you a Super Bowl, right?
Right.
So like you can't go out of your way to make sure Zeke is on the team if it's going to ruin the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the team comes first.
Like there's too many people. This ain't basketball, you know.
Yeah,
One guy can't take you.
I think he's suited up by week one. I don't think he was going to play anything in the preseason anyway. I think he comes back probably after preseason week 3. Comes in at the end. We get him in shape. He's ready for week 1 because there's just, and here's the thing. If Dallas comes out, right, and Alfred Morris shows up, and I mean has a good like preseason, couple preseason games, then Zeke's back immediately, because then the Cowboys have all the cards. It's like
Well, I
okay,
tagged you. Yeah, I tagged you in Twitter on it was that one of y'all's halfbacks running, made some good run, and
Yeah.
Zeke commented on it or retweeted it or something, right? And so like he's putting out, like I think he's a competitor.
Right. He wants to be there. He wants to be there. Like, I mean, I would hope he does. I think being a football player, just in general, you want to be on the field and you want to be making plays. I get why he wants his, but I mean, like I said, just cutting in line. But anyway, speaking of holdouts, we have a new holdout coming since our last episode. We have Melvin Gordon demanding a trade or $10 million a year for the San Diego Chargers, for the Los Angeles Chargers. Excuse me.
By the way, real quick,
Mm-hmm.
I know it's 2019, but Alfred Morris came to the league in 2012. First 3 seasons that he came in, he had over 1,000 yards rushing every. So it's not like he can't run.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, Alfred Morris was definitely I remember him being a pain in our backside every time we played Washington. I mean, you put the right line in front of these running backs. Now I get that certain running backs are special, right? And certain running backs offer your team a leg up on other ones. Like you can't replace a. We could get a good runner to get behind our line, but he's not going to be Zeke. He's not going to
Right.
be Le'Veon, right?
For sure.
It's not going to be Gurley, at least pre-injured Gurley. It's just
But
not the same. But
right, but can he be DeMarco Murray coming back from the Eagles, joining the Titans, and then dropping over 1,000 yards? Like, yeah.
I would hope so. Um, but
Adrian Peterson last year came back, had a good.
yeah, he did. I think that for right now, Zeke is very important, but obviously he has to move. He's got to get back in the spot line. I really hope to see him by week 1. Melvin Gordon, however, does not have the same leverage Zeke does. He's not a top 5 running back in the NFL. Right?
I don't know.
Do you think he's
who
top
you
5?
putting? Who you putting above him?
Well, I got
you
Zeke.
know, like
I got Zeke. I have
right.
Todd Gurley. Absolutely. I have Saquon, who really possibly could be the best right now. I think Alvin Kamara is more valuable than him right now, especially with his hands out of the backfield. He's something special.
I think all four of those are better.
And I think Le'Veon's going to return to top 5 form after a year off with fresh legs. Now, it may not be the same line that he's used to, but the Jets did upgrade their line. They have a better defense. I think Le'Veon is going to be top 5 this year.
So maybe, but I'm still like he's definitely top 10.
Oh, for sure. Undoubtedly. But he didn't have the same leverage as Zeke.
Yeah, well, my concern is, number one, Zeke he hasn't missed for injuries. He had some outside issues, but the Cowboys don't care about that as much. When it comes to injuries, Melvin Gordon he's got injury problem.
Right.
And Zeke doesn't have that, so I can give that to Zeke for sure. That he has that leverage. Like, I totally agree he's got more leverage.
Right.
But I feel like Melvin Gordon's run game is so pivotal to that offense. But I think it's a lost cause now. Like, he's asking for a trade.
Yeah, he's asking for a trade, and it's sad to see. Like, I really don't see where he could go. Is my problem. It's like, the Chargers aren't going to trade him anywhere in the AFC West, right? They don't want to have to play against him. Okay. I mean, how many other teams really want to pay that much for a top tier running back or take on his contract with his injuries right now? I mean, maybe a team like Houston, but I mean, they have Lamar Miller. I don't know why they want to move on from that, but maybe they feel like they're a big home run running back away.
Colts. I can kind of see the Colts doing it.
Yeah, maybe, especially if they have luck issues, definitely having somewhere out there to keep them from being too one-dimensional. Yeah, maybe the Colts do it. Tennessee's not going to do it. Jacksonville won't. New England's not gonna bite on anything like that. You think the Lions would?
I think the Lions need a halfback. I don't know if they would do it.
When was the last time the Lions had a halfback? That's my question.
Barry Sanders?
Is it really Barry? Like, I don't know when's the last time they've had a top 10 running back in the league. I guess Barry Sanders. I mean, they had Reggie Bush at one point, but he wasn't top 10.
Right.
He was, maybe the top half of the league. He was kind of on the decline. So, yeah, I mean, Matthew Stafford definitely needs some help. It's just, I mean, he's going to pass for 4,500 yards again and 30
win
touchdowns
3 games.
and win 3 games. I feel so bad for Detroit, man. They haven't really had anything since Megatron, and then Megatron abruptly retires and leaves Matt Stafford to the dust. And even with Megatron, they couldn't win a playoff game. So it was
I don't feel bad.
You don't feel bad? You don't care?
No, I feel like the ownership puts you in that spot. Like so I don't feel like they just got screwed over, right? I just feel like I feel like they're kind of stuck in that middle ground. Like
yeah.
They need a halfback for sure.
They need something, man. Okay, so maybe the Lions, maybe the Texans, right? Maybe the Colts. Okay. Okay, I could see it, but I mean, how many of them realistically are going to pull the trigger on him and
Well, the
trade for
problem
him?
is that right, it's a trade. That's the problem.
Yeah,
So, what do you think the Chargers going to ask for this man? Because, like I said, he's a big deal in their offense in my head.
a huge deal. I mean, you think that they at least ask for a second, right? They at least ask for a second round pick. I don't know if they'll be able to shop him for a first, but maybe a second and like a sixth. You know, maybe a second and a young up and coming receiver or a young corner, maybe a position player that they could possibly need. But that's the thing about Los Angeles. They got too good of everything, right? They got two good pass rushers, two good wide receivers, two good corners. I mean, yeah, I could see maybe some draft picks for them, and I mean, they are loaded at halfback, right? They have what was his name? I think his name was Justin Jackson, and a couple other guys that can run the ball. So I mean, number
Yeah,
one, they're not going to pay him,
that's a
right?
guy step up.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is really bad for Melvin. San Diego at this point, maybe they try and trade him and shop him just to get him out. Be like, all right, dude, if you don't want to be here, then don't be here, and see if they can get anything some compensation for him at all. And if they can't, then okay, Melvin, hold out. You do what you want, but we're not paying you any more money.
I think if they do trade him, they're
Mm-hmm.
getting a one for him.
You think they get a one?
Amari Cooper,
Amari Cooper got a
Dallas gave
one.
a one for him.
Yeah, because Philly was about to get him. Philly was about to get him for a two, and we couldn't have that. And Jerry was desperately needing a number one wide receiver.
Oh, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, maybe if some other teams are really desperate for a number one running back and they feel they're one running back away from something special, i.e. the Colts, i.e. the
Washington.
Texans, Washington, yeah.
I'm not saying that they're like a guy away from being special, but they need a halfback.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if how much they have left to work with, how much they could send over, or any players that they want. I know they're trying to figure out their quarterback situation. Speaking of, Colt McCoy topped the Washington depth chart list this week.
So yeah, I don't put any stock into these depth charts. Like
not yet.
Like all the rookies are on third strings and stuff like that. Like this ain't nothing right now. I don't think. I think they definitely look different.
Yeah. I feel good for Colt. I feel good for him. Texas alum, my guy.
That's true.
My guy. I think he's played pretty well, considering everything that happened, especially last year with Alex Smith's horrific injury. And Alex Smith definitely. I don't think he'll be back this year. Like he had a really messed up leg. But anyway, props to Colt. Let's see if he can keep the starting job. I imagine they give the nod to the rookie.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on his name for some reason right now.
Dwayne Haskins.
Thank you. I imagine they give the nod to him. Once the season's over, they just kind of throw him in, see what the guy can do, get him some regular season reps. That's my prediction.
I think they'll just start with him.
You think they'll just start with him no matter what?
Yeah, I need to see preseason, but a lot of people, used to. I felt like the meta was kind of like get your guy in, have him work a year underneath, adjust to the pace. But now I feel like a lot of coaches and stuff, and I feel like there's a lot of call from fans, a lot of pressure from fans to put that guy out there right now.
Yeah, there definitely is some pressure from fans, but I feel like the smart thing to do would be at least keep him back for years, especially until you can fix some of your O-line, right? So they can draft some more to be able to protect him because, I mean, the last thing you want is you spend your first round pick on Dwayne Haskins and another, freak injury happens, and then what? Then you're out two potential franchise quarterbacks.
Right.
So
I mean, can't be scared like that,
Well, for sure, you definitely can't be scared, but there's a difference between being scared and a difference between being like not wanting to be foolish. And if Dwayne Haskins is your guy, if he is your franchise quarterback, if there are questions around protecting him, then I say sit him for a year. If there's no questions around protecting him and you believe in your offensive line, okay, yeah, throw him out there, right? You got the pressure from the fans. You want to give him as many possible reps as he can if that's going to be your guy. They just have to figure out if that's going to be their guy. Speaking of somebody that is the guy, okay, Mr. Tom Brady, aka the GOAT, aka the greatest of all time, Mr. Six Rings. Mr. Six Rings. I don't think there's any disputing that Tom Brady is not the greatest quarterback of all time.
Oh yeah, he definitely is.
He 100% is. I mean, 6 rings. The dude seems to be. I read an article earlier on this week, aging like a fine wine. Mr. Tom Brady. Anyway, so yeah, he just got a new contract extension, 2 years, right? So he, on his 42nd birthday, he got a 2-year extension. So he will be on his contract playing until he's at least 44. $70 million contract extension. So his 2019 salary will be raised from $15 million to $23 million. And then he's scheduled to make $30 million in 2020 and $32 in 2021. Lucas, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, so this new contract is a win-win for him and the team. So this contract opens up $5.5 million in cap space.
Excellent.
So, what can Bill do with $5 million extra,
Man, Bill can he can pinch a penny. All right. You give him $5.5 million and he will find you a guy. That is something else that's been a credit to the Patriots' success, right? And I can't believe I'm even talking about this publicly. The Patriots and their success. For a long time, it was like, oh gosh, it's the Patriots, they're winning again. But I will say, over the years, especially right around ring number 4, Brady definitely earned my respect. He seems like a great guy. Definitely the best quarterback ever to play this game, and I'm happy that I've been able to witness it. He's won me over, him and Bill, and Bill. I used to look at him as kind of like, oh, this guy just doesn't care about anybody else. He's just focused on, his team, and, he doesn't care about being a jerk. But, I mean, this is what this is. This is professional sports, right? It's
business.
And it's business. And he's going out there to do a job, and his job is to perform and to prepare and get the team ready. And that's what he's focused on. And he's created a culture in New England that has been able to last past all-time great rosters, right? I mean, some people thought the 2007 that was going to be the last great roster that Brady had seen or would ever see, right? Going undefeated and then unfortunately losing to New York in the Super Bowl. But I mean, they were loaded at that time. But I mean, Brady's doing it with all kinds of players. He's doing it with Gronk. He's doing it with Deion Branch. Chad Ochocinco was on his team at one point. He was playing pretty well. Randy Moss obviously doesn't, needs no introduction. Multiple corners have come out and made Hall of Fame careers, right? Ty Law was a guy actually just enshrined, and he played with New England for a while. So,
also, sorry to interrupt you, but
you're good.
I feel like you got to think of the guys that pop up. All right, so 2 things happen: either go to New England and no one's ever heard of you and you blow up, or people think you've lost it. You go to New England, you blow up, right?
Right.
Stephon Gilmore, considered one of the top cornerbacks now.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Also Devin McCourty
for sure
is, and they kind of dropped off the face of the earth there for a little bit, it kind of felt like they weren't there for a second, and then it's like, okay, we're on the Patriots, we won a Super Bowl,
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And that coaching that Bill does, he game plans better than any coach in the league right now. You saw that as in testament during the Super Bowl, right? The Rams look like an unstoppable offense. They're putting up, 30, 40, 50 points a game, and Bill held them to what, 10 points. That's just absolutely unreal. He definitely outcoached them, and that was a huge factor in winning Super Bowl number 6 for Brady. So Brady gets his. It opens up $5 million in cap space. He's going to be among the highest paid quarterbacks. He definitely deserves it, especially at this point in his career. I do have a question, though. He says he wants to play till 45. Is he going to make it?
Yeah.
I think so, too.
I mean, why not? Number one, this man's diet and, like, the regimen this man goes by is crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, he takes care of himself and he doesn't slack off, right? Like, I don't
Never.
I don't see him, like, ever slacking off, willing to put such and such off till later. Like, I feel like he's always on top of it. He always wants to win. And as long as he has that drive, I think he will.
Yeah, I think Teddy Bruschi told a story one time about how dedicated Tom Brady is. And he said they just won the Super Bowl and they went to an after party. And at the after party, everybody was there, of course, and they were having drinks and eating food, eating whatever, right? Because they have some burgers and some wings and champagne's flying and all that stuff. And so Teddy goes up to, I believe this is Teddy. I could be misquoted. I know it was one of his teammates after a Super Bowl. Goes up to Tom's like, hey Tom, you want a drink? You want some wings? You want this and that? And then Tom Brady said, no, I'm training. Like they had just won the Super Bowl. And this guy is in the mentality. He's like, I'm training. I'm getting ready for next year. Yes,
Yep.
we took care of business, but I'm still a pro quarterback. I'm getting back here again next year. And that's insane willpower from that guy. And he's played amazing because of it. Now, dude, think about it this way. We were so blessed with Manning versus Brady. Think about that, dude. Like two of
Which
the best. Peyton, the one. What do you mean?
I mean,
Peyton.
who beat Brady in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah,
When you think about Brady losing, you think of Eli Manning. So I didn't know what you were talking about.
I was talking about two of the best quarterbacks to have ever played this game. Number one in Tom Brady, and I think probably number three in Peyton.
Number three.
I think so. I think number two.
Who's number two?
Joe Montana.
Get out of here, bro.
Okay, well, who's number? Okay, then what's your number? What's your ranking, Almighty
Number
Wizard?
2 is definitely Peyton.
You think number 2 is Peyton? Number 1 and number 2 of all time?
Yes, all time.
But Joe had 3 rings, didn't he?
I don't care.
It doesn't matter. Joe and Bill Walsh created the West Coast offense. They literally created an offense.
Okay. Peyton Manning ran a team, bro.
He did.
And
that's why he's number 3.
He was the team. No.
Listen, there's something special about Peyton Manning. Okay, I will say this: Peyton Manning has the highest football IQ, period, of any player ever before. Right, I did and I do. Right, he had a better arm than Joe, but Joe had that it factor. He's the guy, right? He is like the guy to make the drive when you need it the most. It's Joe, and the only one that can top him is Brady. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Joe is now. Don't get me wrong. For players that I have personally watched, right, since I was 10 years old and I really started getting into football, players that I have personally watched, it's Brady and it's Manning, number 1 and 2. I've never seen another quarterback in my entire 16 years of watching this game that have come close to those two. But in terms of NFL history, it's got to be Mr. Montana, Mr. Joe.
I don't know,
but that's just my personal opinion. And like I said, Peyton's number 3. It is a very hard debate. I just when you hear of people talking about best quarterbacks of all time, you hear, did Brady finally pass Joe? I don't know. And maybe Joe, but was Joe made special by Jerry because he had Mr. Jerry Rice? Or, it's different. It's a difficult question to think about and one to ponder. But for whatever reason, I feel like Joe still has that leg up. But Peyton is something special. But the point is, even at number one, let's say for you, number one and number two, right? Are we ever going to be able to see ever again the best quarterback in the history of the league and the second best quarterback in the history of the league go at it year in and year out like the Colts and the Patriots did for so long?
Oh, that was awesome. But we can't move on yet. I got to talk to you about this. Okay.
Go ahead. Lay it on me.
All right. So Joe Namath,
Joe Namath.
right?
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm looking at the right guy. Broadway Joe.
Right. Yeah, Broadway Joe for the Jets. Yeah.
All right.
You know, I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about Joe Montana, right?
Oh, you said Joe Namath, didn't you?
If I said Joe Namath, I completely and utterly apologize. I thought I said Montana.
I could have swore you said Joe Namath. That's why I was just like, you are
dumbfounded. Oh, yeah, no, not Joe Namath. Joe Namath isn't top 10 all time.
Okay.
No, Joe Montana, the guy having Jerry Rice, Bill Walsh, creating the West Coast offense. If I said Namath, I apologize. I meant Montana.
You just...
I can see how I baffled you with that. Yeah, Peyton Manning's definitely better than Joe Namath. You kidding me? Joe Namath was he was good, but he's not top 10 all time.
I mean, I still think Peyton's better. Like, Peyton threw for 72,000 yards. Joe Montana threw for 40.
Right, but it was a different era, right? They didn't have to throw that much.
Exactly. So Peyton played at a higher level against harder defenses, and I believe he played longer, didn't he?
I think you are right with that. But
yeah,
I mean,
Peyton
Joe
played
Montana
266
Joe
games.
Montana led the Chiefs to a Super Bowl.
Okay. Like Peyton won 2, and he went to some others and lost, right? But like he won 2, 5-time MVP. Right? He's got more All-Pros than Joe Montana. They've got the same All-Pros. Peyton made the Pro Bowl 14 times. Joe Montana made it 8.
You know, that is true.
And I feel like you have to look at how long they played too, you know? Peyton Manning played more games.
Peyton was definitely smarter
and has a better completion percentage. Like, it just...
You might be swaying me over. You know, I just looked this up.
I mean, it's goaty stuff, man. Like, you went to Denver. He went to Denver and could barely play worth a crap and won a Super Bowl.
You know, Peyton should have won more Super Bowls, but he ran into Tom Brady. But here's the thing. I will concede this point, and here's the only reason why. I just looked up most fourth quarter comebacks in NFL history. Mr. Joe Montana is tied at 11th at 26 with Mr. Matty Ice, Matt Ryan. Number 1, guess who it is? The number 18, Peyton Manning with 43.
Yeah. You see, like, I'm just, also,
that might be number 1 and 2.
Think about this, Jack.
Yeah.
Was Joe Montana having to compete with Tom Brady to get into the Super Bowl, like you just said, Like,
no, but he competed with, who did he compete with, man? Joe Montana competed against him.
But he didn't compete with the GOAT.
No, he didn't compete with the GOAT. You're right.
That's the problem here. Like, if Tom Brady is unanimously the number 1,
I think so.
Like, who'd he run into?
Did he run into Troy Aikman, or was that was Steve Young, wasn't it? I believe that was Steve Young who he ran into Troy. But Troy Aikman, I don't even know if I put him top 10. I guess I'd put him top 10.
I don't know.
You might be right. You might be right. I think the only thing holding Peyton back from that conversation is just rings. But I mean, when you keep running into the GOAT like that, it's that's hard. And when he did beat him, right? When they did come back against the Patriots in I think it was an AFC title game, they went on to win the Super Bowl against Chicago in that crazy defense in 2005.
5 times MVP. Montana got it twice.
Listen, all right. Peyton Manning is undoubtedly,
and it's 4 Super Bowl rings against 2. So Peyton got 2 playing against Tom Brady.
Yeah, Peyton did get 2 playing against Tom Brady, but Joe got 4. and I believe 3 was with San Francisco, and 1 was with Kansas City, if I'm right on that. So he did win with 2 different teams, but so did Peyton. But
Right.
like I said, Joe Montana, he was kind of that it guy. He had the it factor.
And Peyton didn't. You just said he's the number 1 quarterback in fourth quarter comebacks, right?
Yes, but the problem is just couldn't get it done in the postseason. Peyton has a terrible postseason record
Okay, so
when it matters most.
all right,
But Joe
so
delivers.
okay, so he delivered for 2 more Super Bowls in an era that was
Yes.
dominated by halfbacks, where there
Yeah,
wasn't as
that
much
dominated the
pressure on
time of
quarterbacks.
possession. So we had left time of possession than Mr. Peyton Manning in the high-flying offense of the 2000 era.
And Peyton has a better completion percentage. Like, he had more chances to mess up.
Yeah, that's right.
He's got oh, okay. He has twice as many touchdowns. Literally. 30,000 more yards.
That is true. But rings mean a lot,
5-time
my
MVP.
friend. Listen, okay, I feel you. I understand. That's why I had him at number 3, okay? That's why I didn't have anybody else with more rings ahead of him other than Joe Montana.
Playing against Tom Brady.
We could debate this all day. We really could. Play against Tom Brady. He got 2 Super Bowl rings. You are correct. He is the smartest quarterback in NFL history. He has all the records. He's the guy. I feel you. But I don't know, man. There's just something about – and like I said, I'm leaning towards accepting that. Accepting that Peyton is better. I think it would make for a better – if Peyton is number 2 and Brady's number 1, really getting to watch number 1 and number 2 go against each other for so long is definitely something special. And I'll tell you what, I hadn't really considered it until you made that argument, so I'm gonna put that as a win in your column for even making me think about it. Does that make you feel better?
This is blasphemous. All right? That's what this is.
Would it feel better if I conceded and I said Peyton Manning was number 2?
Yes.
I concede.
All right.
Peyton Manning's number 2 all time.
I'm glad.
And if Tom Brady didn't exist, Peyton Manning would have 6 rings.
He'd have more. That's for sure. The Colts were scary, man.
Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne.
Marvin Harrison, dude, Reggie Wayne, and they had
Dallas Clark.
Dallas Clark for sure. Like, he had such a good. He had so many offensive weapons, and then like Dwight Freeney was an animal on the defensive line. Robert Mathis.
Oh, they haunted you for so long. How bad was it being a Titans fan and having to play against Peyton twice every year?
So like when you got Steve McNair and all of them, it's not that bad, right?
Right.
Like it's really not that bad. But when your team just crumbles and like you haven't been able to put together a solid team since like 2010.
Yeah.
And like to even do that, I think that's the year that CJ2K happened, like this man, which by the way, Kevin Mawai, who was a lineman for us, just got into the Hall of Fame. He was a lineman. He was on the line when CJ hit that. So, of course, he had to talk about it.
Right.
Apparently, CJ called it before that year. Like, the summertime, he said he was going to have 2,000 yards. Yeah.
What? Dude.
He called it. Rushing.
I remember that year. Literally put the Titans on his back to a 13-3 record.
I've never been so upset in my life, dude.
Didn't you lose to the Ravens, like the division?
We lost to the Ravens with Steve McNair. Dude, I could punch a baby. Like,
yeah. I feel you on that one. Yeah, that is rough, man. I remember you guys. Yeah, lost to the Ravens like a last-second field goal or something.
So upsetting. Like we lost. Steve McNair and Drew Bennett left.
I had Tennessee going to the Super Bowl that year. Because it was CJ2K. The dude was he ran like at the time he was like the fastest man in the NFL, fastest 40 time ever at the time.
And like he could take hits too. Like he'd bounce off people. Yeah. And
dude,
also Kerry Collins was playing good. I believe he was our quarterback at the time. Like it wasn't.
I think it was Vince Young, and then Vince got hurt or something.
I think we benched him, and Kerry played good.
Him for Kerry? Yeah, you probably did. Kerry played well. The defense was really good that year.
Yeah, Kyle Vanden Bosch, Keith
Mm-hmm.
Bullock, Cortland Finnegan. Ooh,
Cortland Finnegan
scary
versus
name.
Andre.
That was such a good time. We lost that game too.
I remember that fight. I remember watching that fight live on TV.
Well, it's still like considered one of the best fights to happen on TV, like in football right now. I think. Like, if you look up
I
best
think so.
NFL football fights, like that comes up.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Lucas, I have faith in your Titans this year, man. And I'll tell you what, I've been hearing a lot of doubters about Mariota.
Calling it.
Okay,
I got it
I,
written down in
I
the book of hot takes. I'm so sorry, but I got it written down. Tennessee Titans will be in the Super Bowl this year.
that would be
Boom.
absolutely incredible to see.
Boom.
Boom. That would be awesome. And I really think they are underestimated, especially. Okay, but do you agree with this point? Okay, and again, I keep referencing this. I like to watch a lot of sports stuff, right? I'm in sports. I'm in football. I watch Colin Cowherd, excuse me, a lot. Okay, I like to watch his stuff that pops up for me on YouTube, or I'll watch his show on ESPN. Sometimes listen to it on the radio. Anyway, he said for Marcus Mariota this year, given the amount of injuries that he's had, giving his I guess questionable performances over the past couple of years, that it's this year or bust for Mariota. He's either gonna do extremely well and get paid a big contract, or they're gonna cut him after this year. What do you think?
I agree, except I believe we'll franchise tag him. If he like obviously if he goes out there and plays like you know, plays like if we just had Derrick Henry be the quarterback, like if he just plays bad. If he plays like
Yeah.
Matt Castle out there, right?
Ooh.
We're getting rid of him.
I remember the Matt Castle
But I
year
think
that we had.
I think if he has another year where it's like it's there, but it's not like he's hurt
Yeah.
or something else happens, like it's there, but it's not all the way there.
Mm-hmm.
I think we franchise tag him. But I
Now,
think he's gonna be good, honestly. Like we finally have an offense, right, for a second year. We're not getting a new one. We
yeah. So he's not having to learn a whole new system again, right?
exactly. We're pretty much keeping the same.
And you do have Derrick Henry, right? An
We got Derrick
absolute
Henry.
monster of a man.
We got Delaney Walker came back. He was out all year last year, and throughout Mariota's career, that has been his number one target, his most consistent target.
His bread and butter.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we got Corey Davis, who showed some explosiveness last year. And
sure.
This year apparently is having a crazy camp. That's all I'm hearing. Like if I listen to any Titan stuff, people are talking about how good Corey Davis is doing at camp. So
That's awesome. Definitely a fantasy
yeah,
sleeper out there, by the way, guys. For sure.
for
Corey
sure.
Davis,
And I think people
fantasy
are
sleeper.
overlooking Derrick Henry for fantasy.
I don't know why with that 99-yard run.
This man had the best stats for like the last 4 or 5 weeks of if you take it all as a whole. He's got the best stats. He was the hottest halfback.
Yeah, that's why I think the Titans are going to come out and surprise. And I really think that Week 1 matchup against that Cleveland, because Cleveland's coming in hype. Cleveland's coming in strong and confident. They think they are going to the Super Bowl, man. And I think you guys just come out and punch them in the mouth.
I hope so, man. It's going to be exciting. Like I'm really excited for Tennessee football this year. But AFC South's hard, man.
Yeah, especially with Mr. Andrew Luck with his calf, right? Have we heard any updates on Mr. Andrew Luck and his calf?
I haven't heard any updates except I believe he's okay. He's not practicing. I did hear an update a couple of days ago. He's not practicing for the next week or two, and
Right.
then they're not going to let him play for the whole preseason. But he will be fine. It's a calf strain, so he should be good to go for the year.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the ESPN official NFL injury report as of August 5th. Luck has commented saying that he has no doubt that he'll be ready for the start of the regular season, but he is still, still nursing that calf. He says it is frustrating, but he will be back and in form come Week 1. So, Yeah, definitely someone to look out for. He had an incredible performance last year, comeback player of the year. Um, definitely, in my opinion, I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the league right now, and when healthy. When healthy, do you think he's top 5 right now?
Yeah,
When healthy,
for sure. Yeah,
I think so too. I think so,
100%. Like
definitely.
that easy.
Yeah, without a doubt. As we're looking at injuries, let's look at some of these other ones. So we have Antonio Brown. He's considered day to day with a foot injury for Oakland. Um, Listed as questionable as of August 4th. Um, does not He is not expected to be absent long term. Um, Kind of a letdown for Mr. Antonio Brown. Um, that would definitely um, that would definitely suck if he was out for a bit, especially after his widely publicized exit from Pittsburgh and him trying to have some kind of redemption here in Oakland.
Yeah, I just wonder. I don't think AB's ever going to have years like he did in Pittsburgh.
I don't think so either. You're going from a downgrade from Big Ben to Derek Carr.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not the same offense. He doesn't have the same line. He doesn't have the same. He doesn't have Juju or somebody taking pressure off of him deep down the field. Don't get me wrong. He's a great wide receiver. Um, and still, I would think a top 5 wide receiver in the league, even in Oakland. But that being said, different team, different system. That could be refreshing for him, but at the same time, I don't think he's going to get back to where he was. I don't know if he'll even have 1,000-yard season. We'll see.
um, Back to the Titans a little bit because I just thought of this.
Okay.
Derrick Henry is definitely going to be a huge part of their success, but I think you have to look at this defense. Like, no pass rush, and we were top 5 defense last year, I believe, especially red zone. I know that scoring defense, we were top 3. Okay. So, and that's just with our secondary. We got Kevin Byard, highest paid safety.
That dude's an
Stats
animal.
wise, he's the best. He's the best in the league since he came in. If you just go by stats, right?
Right.
And then Dory Jackson coming up, playing good. Malcolm Butler, Logan Ryan, like our secondary is so good.
It's definitely
and so
one
we need
heck
a
of a
pass
defense,
rush.
man. It's one heck of a defense.
We got Jarrell Casey coming back. He got hurt at the end of the year last year. I don't think he played our last game, our make it or break it game.
Is he 100%?
I believe so. Yes,
I sure hope so. Man, what a
he
pass
will be.
rush.
Harold Landry got the 100%, bro. Harold Landry, he'll be a second-year pro. He's the one that got the strip sack on Carson Wentz last year that kept us in the Eagles game, right?
Yeah.
And then he's not really going to get to play, but we drafted that Jeffrey Simmons dude, defensive tackle. Dude's an animal. All the film I've seen of him, like next year, I expect him to play a huge role. This year, he might come in. Like if we make the playoffs, he might be able to take some snaps, but
yeah,
he's hurt. We brought in Cameron Wake to help the rush.
Yeah.
So the rush should really look a lot better. So I expect that to translate into the secondary being even better than they were before.
Right, because if you have more of a pass rush, that's just going to help everybody else, right? Yeah, I think like I said, dude, I think Tennessee is vastly underrated. I definitely expect them to be in the playoffs. I for sure have them make the divisional round. I really, really hope that they're going to make the Super Bowl. That would be absolutely incredible and huge for Tennessee, right? Especially being in kind of but Tennessee's kind of an up and coming market.
Cowboy Nashville, Tennessee, Super Bowl, I want it.
Dude, can you imagine?
It'd be so crazy.
The amount
Cowboys are underrated right now.
Yeah, the amount of trash talk that would go on between you and me, especially on this show. If we have the pre-show or this show right here, this podcast, especially like right before the Super Bowl, you and me, I think it'd just be trash talk back and forth. And I really hope that happens because I would welcome that a lot. You're gonna be like, no, Jackson, There's no way the Cowboys are winning. Look at all these stats. Do you see Jarrell Casey this year? I think that would be
Who won last year?
Boom. Listen, this is before we had Amari. This is before we had Amari Cooper.
You had Amari Cooper, didn't you?
Okay, that was his first game. All right, he wasn't. he wasn't acclimated with the offense yet. Him and Dak.
No, that wasn't his first game either. Because in his first game, he caught the game-winning touchdown, right?
No, I think Tennessee was his first game.
Google.
I'm doing it right now.
All right, you look that up.
I'm doing it right now.
I'm going to talk about the fact that the Tennessee Titans need a new stadium, man. All right, the NFL's changing. I'm tired. I'm tired of going to these games. All right, walking up and down the super, just there's the place, right? There's water all over the place because it's so hot in Tennessee, and we ain't got a dome, and I'm just sweating. I sweat enough, like I couldn't tell you how many people I've slipped in my. It's crazy. I need a dome. I need some air conditioning. I just need to be out of the sun, if anything. I got the sun beating down on me. Whew. The chairs are a little small, all right? But we're not getting a new stadium, but we need it. We need it bad.
That would be nice for them to have a brand new stadium.
Get an MLB team in if we did that. Boom. I would love that. Anyways.
MLB team. That would be... I'm telling you, man, Nashville's an up-and-coming market.
They really are. And the Preds have helped that, you know. The Preds went to the Stanley Cup. That helped. The Titans are playing right, so I think that I believe last year we were the number one move to city. Like we were the happening city in the United States. We were number one. So
Yeah. Okay, so here we got a little update. Mr. Amari Cooper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. First game was with Tennessee. We got him off the bye week in week 8.
Okay.
So hey, he wasn't used to the offense. All right. But after that, as soon as he got acclimated, we had 1, 2, 3, 5 wins in a row.
All right. Okay. Well, look, I want you to know.
5 wins.
I want you to know we fumbled 3 times in the first quarter. Okay.
Oh yeah, I was messaging you all kinds of trash talk, my friend. It was funny. And then Kevin Byard destroyed us with the interception return for a touchdown, and that was that.
No, he didn't even return it. He picked it off in the end zone, right? I think it was a simple fade, and Dak overthrew it, and so Kevin Byard picked it off. I think he got tackled on the spot, right? But it's a turnover still.
I thought he brought it all the way back.
No, because then he got up and he ran to the star.
Oh yes, here we go.
Ran to the star.
How dare he, bro? How dare he? The star is a sacred place. All right. I'll tell you what. I like Kevin Byard. Right. Seems like a nice guy, and definitely a top safety in this league. But dude, you don't go to the star, man. That's just disrespectful. And I'll tell you what. If we meet you in the Super Bowl 2020, we're gonna remember, friend. We're gonna remember. We're coming for you.
I hope you remember.
We're coming. Just know. Because you don't get on the star, boy.
Bro,
that's just something you don't do.
The Titans are tough, man. Find a team tougher than the Titans. You want to go to war, have at it, man. We'll fight 100%. I got Taylor Lewan on the squad, bro. This dude's shooting arrows at Josh Norman after the Washington game. He pushed Jalen Ramsey. But Jalen Ramsey popped.
I remember that dude.
There's some funny stuff. He got up year before last. He got up in Richard Sherman's face because he light hit Mariota. Right, got up in this man's face. Got a flag on us and everything, which was stupid. But it's good to see that your guys will fight for your QB. You know.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll tell you what though. All right, Travis Frederick last year was out with an autoimmune issue. Okay. This year he's back, and let me tell you what: fear the beard. Have you seen the beard on this man?
I want to know if he took some vitamins to fix that autoimmune.
I don't know what he did, but I'm so glad that he's back. Definitely an underrated center, top center, a top center in the league.
Oh, for
And
sure.
if we have him and we meet you in the 2020 Super Bowl, best believe he's going to make a difference, especially with Amari Cooper knowing the offense. And who knows? Maybe we'll have Zeke by then if he ends a holdout going into the Super Bowl.
Well, like I tell you what's scary is we got Taylor Lewan is suspended for the first 4 games of the year,
Oh, that's a big
right?
problem. Yeah,
And then
especially
it's
against Cleveland.
like we had one hole in our offensive line coming into the year. We got left tackle Taylor Lewan, Pro Bowl man. All
Mm-hmm.
right, our right tackle's Jack Conklin, Pro Bowl man.
Right.
Okay, we got Roger Saffold left guard, straight from the Rams. Okay,
Oh yeah, he's a
this
beast.
man's got it. And then we got some guys that kind of filled in for us that we were trying in at right guard, and we also drafted a man hoping that he could be really good next year, I think. And now it's like this guy's gone. Okay. Well, the guy, we had 2 guys, Penfield and Dennis Kelly, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Played really good as backups for us last year. And so we're like, okay, like these guys are going to be solid. With Ben Jones, also, all 3 of them, we're going to be able to have a good set for our right guard and our center.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, now we don't have a left tackle for the first 4 games. So we got our center playing right guard and our right guard playing left tackle.
Oh, jeez.
I'm shook. Okay. I'm shook.
How do you feel about that going into Cleveland, man? With
Miles
Mr.
Garrett
Miles.
ain't nothing. All right.
He ain't nothing.
He's 4 foot nothing. Okay.
little punk kid, am I right?
I expect him to come off the edge thinking he's going to hit Mariota, and I expect Derrick Henry just take his knees out. All right. And then Mariota throw for like an 80-yard touchdown pass. Opening drive.
Right then and there.
That's what I expect.
Boom.
In actuality, he'll probably get 3 sacks. Okay. But that's all right. Derrick Henry's going to run over him a couple times. Make up for it. I have faith.
Well, as long
Gotta
as you
have
win the
faith,
game,
Jackson.
I feel the faith, man. As long as you win the game, that's all that matters, right?
We definitely will.
For sure, for sure.
It's scary.
Do you know what's scary is I know we touched on these injuries a little bit and I spoke on it before, but Zach Barton having this disc, man.
Yeah, because he's a big part.
He is a huge part of our offense. Our right guard, our pull guy, right? Especially on those counter plays, opening up the hole for hopefully Zeke this year. He's a huge part of our offense, and last year we lost Travis Frederick. Still had a pretty good year, but I need another year like in 2016 where all of our line was healthy and they're active and they're out there. And man, dude, like I feel really bad for him, and I feel really bad for us because man, Zach Martin, you can't really replace one of those offensive lines. So I feel you on the offensive line injuries. I hope he's ready by week 1 though. I really do.
Also, you got to look at like that's a back injury like that. I feel like that's reoccurring, right? That's not it. Like it doesn't heal, right? Like you got to worry about that for the rest of his career.
For sure, and I would be really surprised if at the end of the season, I'll be very surprised if by the end of the season if it's not re-aggravated in some way, and that he doesn't have to have surgery going into the off season.
Oh yeah.
Maybe some with rest and with like with maybe some chiropractic stuff, we can kind of set it and put it in place. And for a normal dude, that might be enough. But when you're out there bumping heads with 300-pound linemen every play, that's a whole different story. So the disc really does scare me because that doesn't seem like it's a thing that can just like a hamstring just kind of like heal and you're good. This is a recurring thing that could possibly lead to surgery. I hope the best for him. Was there any other injuries notable on the report? I see DK Metcalf has an oblique strain.
Yep.
So I guess he's kind of day to day at the moment.
It just makes me think like this is so common. Like rookies coming in, getting hamstring, calf issues, ankle issues. I feel like that happens all the time. Like you might as well expect it now.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's part of it's part of training camp. It's part of the preseason, especially guys getting used to the speed of the game and the intensity of the game. Even in practice, these guys are going hard, right? Obviously, they don't want to like get themselves hurt, but I mean, they're trying to get those reps in. They're trying to get ready for games. I will say this: I have this thought. It's a random thing, but what would you think about reducing the preseason games to, let's say, 2 or 1?
I can definitely see going down to 3 for sure.
I don't see the reason for 4. You're just increasing the injury likelihoods. And it doesn't really take
Yeah.
4 games to get in shape.
So the reason I say 3 is because like I feel like the basic thing you see now is like, all right, the preseason week 1, all right, the starters might come in and play one drive.
Yeah.
All right. And even then there's a lot of guys that aren't going to play. Week 2, come in, they're going to play a little bit more. They're not going to play a half. They might not even play a quarter. But they might do 2 drives. Or they still might just do 1, honestly.
Right.
And then week 3 is like the, you know,
It's
it's
a
the
dress
dress
rehearsal.
up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Play a half.
And so, yeah, if not less, honestly.
Yeah. At least a quarter.
And so, like, I can see the first 3 being a thing. The last one, no starters play. Everyone sits out.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to rest, you know?
It's just who makes the team at that point. You put in
And
all your rookies. You put other than if they're not a first rounder, you don't put them in, but you put in your guys that are trying to make the team, and you see what happens.
right.
Compete
And
for the job.
if you change it to 3 games, I think they do the same thing. I think your first and second game they play, your third game I don't think they play because that extra week rest before week 1 seems to be a big thing.
It is. It is. It's getting the guys, and making sure that you don't have a freak injury on a preseason week 3 game. At that point, or a preseason week 4 game. Last thing you want is your star player going out right before the games that matter. So, I just think they need to reduce it overall. I mean, I don't really see the need for 4 preseason games. I think 2. Maybe you start with 3, but like I don't think it takes that long to get these guys in shape. I think you're just increasing the risks of injuries, and just putting guys out there at risk unnecessarily. I just don't think you need it. I think it's the preseason is too long, especially for those Hall of Fame guys that are playing 5 games. I'm ready to get into the season and get going. Even if that means the preseason starts 1 week later, that's fine. Let's get up and let's get ready and let's go. So preseason week 4, it's so boring. We all know who's making the team anyway. We're just watching it just to watch it. Preseason week 4 is the worst week of the NFL. So
I don't know, Pro Bowl week's pretty bad.
That's true. Literally, as soon as I said the preseason is the worst week, I thought about Pro Bowl week. Pro Bowls ain't fun anymore, dude. It's not because no one's really trying. They're just kind of out there.
Hey, I will say,
funsies.
If the Titans and Dallas meet in the Super Bowl, we can't be friends for 2 weeks because the Pro Bowl. So it's gonna be scary.
Scary hour. Be scary. What? I guess we got to pre-record some stuff or something for the show. Then, jeez, we're gonna have to do something. If we can't, I think it's gonna be. We're gonna have a moderator come in.
We get Carter in here.
You get Carter in here. He doesn't
Bring in the brother.
He doesn't know anything about football. He's just like, point to Lucas. Why?
Yeah.
He's a Dark Council. That's why.
Jackson's a communist, and Lucas is obviously correct at everything. That's what I like. That's why I got to get him in here.
Boom.
All right. I got to get the heavy hitters in here.
Yeah, man, for sure. Let's see. Let's make sure we went over everything. Oh yes, Jadeveon Clowney is in a holdout. I know we touched on holdouts before. I guess he wants to get paid.
He's good.
Dude, have you seen this man? This dude is like at least twice the size of any other NFL player. I swear he's a giant.
Animal, bro. We play him twice a year.
Dude,
this man is.
Yeah, him and JJ.
It's so stupid, man, having to play both of them. I swear.
That
That
is,
didn't be a rule. All
yeah,
right.
they are the Texans defense. That's what they are. Um, they take up 2 blockers apiece, so your center's in a
Basically.
one-on-one. You
Hey, and
literally
they
have
got
to,
merciless.
yeah, they just have to rush 4, and somebody's getting there.
100%. Honestly, that's all they have to do all game.
That's so scary. Um, anyway, so Jadeveon Clowney's in a holdout. We'll keep watch on that, keep an update on that. Obviously, that's good news for you in Tennessee. You know, if you don't have Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt, you're looking pretty good. If
Right.
you only have to deal with one, that's manageable. Dealing with both is a offensive coordinator's nightmare. Josh Gordon asks that the NFL reinstate him. All right, I think this is just silly at this point. Um, he I remember he was with New England last year for a little bit. He came back in. I think he had an immediate impact. He's
Yeah,
a good player. He's a special talent,
for
but
sure.
he just at this point I think it's time to hang it up, man. You know, he keeps having these issues. He keeps having to be kicked out of
Well, he
the
quit
NFL,
for
or I think
well,
this
no,
time
he
he quit
quit. He
himself.
quit
But
this time for mental health reasons, right?
yeah,
But like for sure, all the other times, like dude couldn't stay off the weed. You know,
yeah.
stay off the weed.
Do you remember
like,
that, Stephen?
like
we
dude
had we
couldn't.
had Brandon Whedon playing as our quarterback. He said, "Get off the weed."
Crazy dude.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, this is like what the third time he's asked to be brought back in. Um,
It's something.
and
It's some
maybe he definitely has more of a chance now since this was kind of a mental health thing. Um, and
right.
he checked himself out, so he wasn't kicked out. But I mean, it just seems like enough's enough at this point. I'm not going to hate on him for wanting to follow his dreams and play in the NFL. And he's definitely a special talent that he can definitely be an impact player pretty much straight out the gate. But at what point do you just call it? Um, I don't know. I'm rooting for him. I hope he gets back in. I hope that he plays very well. Um, I just don't think it's very likely. But we'll see. We'll see with Mr. Josh Gordon
For sure.
if he can get back into the league.
I think he'll get back in. Be a
Yeah.
weapon for Brady.
Who you think he'll I think the Patriots still have his rights.
Oh yeah, they actually like kept him on purpose.
Yeah.
Like put some money in on that to make sure they kept him. Because I mean, I think he was their number one guy. You know, like he's explosive for sure.
Yeah, very explosive, very fast, crazy hands. Um, this guy was dominating the league the first 2 years that he was in. He was competing for a top 5 position in the league, but then you couldn't stay off the weed.
That's so crazy, dude. Like you're competing for top 5 against people like Julio Jones, DeAndre
And he
Hopkins.
was in that conversation. He absolutely was, even in Cleveland, right? Being that guy in that conversation his first couple of years. Um, rooting for him. Hope he gets back in. I I doubt it, but we'll see.
For
We'll see.
sure.
Just because it's kind of like his third time, they'll leave some wiggle room open because it was his own reasons. Maybe if he shows the NFL that he's not ready to be back in, it just feels like kind of like a flip floppy situation to me. But hope he's back in. He's definitely an impact player. Moving on from there, we are we have some wonderful news here at the end. Mr. Jordy Nelson is retiring as a Packer. Can we speak to this man being a absolute Packer legend, Lucas?
100%. Consistent, dude. That's what I think of. Like this
A-
dude's consistent.
absolutely, the consistent possession wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers and was for years. Um, I was actually really upset when they let him go to Oakland. I really thought that they should have paid to keep him. Um, he was a special talent, and I was even more upset when in Oakland he got hurt. He was kind of one of my sleeper guys in fantasy last year.
Yeah.
I did pick him up, and I'm like, okay, well, if I could pick up Jordy Nelson in the 12th round of fantasy, I'm going to do it. So Man, well, I'm glad that he retired as a Packer, with his home and with his brothers and with his family in Green Bay, because he definitely made a huge impact and was a big reason for Aaron Rodgers having all the success that he did. Um, so good news there. Mr. Lucas, you have anything else?
I believe we have touched it all that I can remember.
I think we have touched it all. So we're coming up this first week, actual full week of preseason. So our next show, we're going to be talking about um, all of those results and seeing every team um, showcased, especially during the first week. Some touching stuff from the Hall of Fame game. I did forget to mention that Mr. Noah Fant, I think, could really be a fantasy sleeper. Keep an eye out for him. Tight end for Denver. Ran a 4.5 40. Has a very big vertical. Huge hands, long arms.
Great in college.
Great in college. Seems to be like a security blanket for Mr. Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco dressed. He did not play in the Hall of Fame game. I can't wait to see him in a Denver uniform and really see what he can do. Hope that he has a redemption story for himself in Denver after being pushed out of Baltimore. But yeah, Noah Fant, keep her on him. Tight end, Denver for a fantasy sleeper. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So yeah, next week we'll talk all about preseason week 1 and what we thought. Maybe some early fantasy picks. I know the fantasy drafts are starting all around the country, all around. Maybe do they have fantasy all around the world? I hope so.
I should.
They definitely should. Definitely a lot of draft parties are taking place. We're in August, so we're in the nitty gritty. So we'll try and give you guys some different tips and tricks from a couple champions as ourselves. Am I right, Lucas?
I am always a champion.
That
every
is a
year.
fact. All right, gentlemen, thank you guys so much for listening to us. We are distributing this podcast. We are on Anchor. We are on Spotify. Go for 2 podcasts. Please do look us up. Give us a follow. Give us a like. Give us a favorite. Be sure to leave a comment down below. Any topics that you think we should talk about. Any fantasy sleepers you think we're missing on, etc., etc. Any key points that you would like us to talk on or that you have for us for the show. Hopefully in a couple of episodes, we'll try and get distributed onto Google Podcast and Podbean, and hopefully later on down the line, Apple Podcasts. But I think that's it from us. Thank you guys so much, and that's a wrap.
Deuces.